Hello. I felt called to do a what do you need to know in this moment read. And I do want to say that I have low energy, so mind that. I have just enough to be present here with you. And that's just what I feel called to do. So we have the Queen of Cups and Judgment. And these are the two cards that I pulled out just for the energy and the energy check. Which this is specifically for somebody who is realizing the depth of your emotions, the depth of your love, and the depth of the impact, while also the depth of the needs, right? It's like on one hand, you know how maybe your emotions can pull tides, right? With the Queen of Cups, Queen of Water, Queen of Ocean, right? Like your emotions kind of play like the tides. They can pull things in, they can reject things, right? They can wash things upon shore, it can kick it out, you know what I'm saying? But it's also this energy of like the depth of what does that ocean per se need, right? Because if you look at the ocean, it's a very 11-11, 11-11. I meant to say 111, 111. 11-11 could be significant. But it's like you're recognizing the needs because the ocean has a very beautifully balanced but delicately balanced ecosystem, like any other ecosystem, honestly. But it's like it has certain needs. It needs a certain temperature. If it's too high, if it's too low, it'll kill out certain species, like coral, things like that, which we're already dealing with. Sorry. And things like that. Like there seems to be like a big reckoning and understanding of the emotional self, which may not have been something that was previously as deeply connected. It's like you could have understood your emotions, or you could have understood like what your emotions were trying to tell you, but it was almost like you were still opening up to, and holding, like creating space for the depth of you and who you are and what your emotions need. And so that's what this energy, if this sounds like you, there's this wish energy. 222 on my timer. There's this wish fulfillment energy coming in. There's something good that's coming in, and something that's emotionally fulfilling to 31, because you're seeking emotional fulfillment and you know yourself and your emotions deep enough to receive any kind of fulfillment, because you actually know what fulfills you rather than what just kind of pulls on your emotions, right? It's like maybe also no longer chasing adrenaline highs and just kind of seeking what your emotions need. Yeah, we have the Tower. Like I've been saying, like this has been like a almost like a recent development, because again, it's not like you haven't been emotional. It's like your emotions, it's what I'm seeing is like those blocked gutters, right? Like you could have been the kind of person that could have been a little reactive, but it's because you bottle up. But I feel like that was a subconscious way of being. That wasn't like how you always really treated your emotions. That's how your emotions were treated growing up. 333. So it's how you subconsciously started treating them too. But you've broken this down. You've unlearned these patterns. Yeah. Queen of Wands and the Empress. Hello. You balanced out your emotions with logic. You balanced out your emotions. You know what's so interesting too? Because also with the Nine of Swords on the back of the deck and more like water and air, I feel like I've talked about this once before in a reading. They have such similar properties, but they're quite opposite because they're both fluids. They both fill containers. One is just like it's a different property than the other. And it's like by balancing these out, I feel like who I'm talking to specifically, smart, very intelligent. You could be logical, you don't really have to be, but there's something about you being very much a visionary. Somebody who works a lot with air energy, which is like vision, uh, flight, very much cosmos, very much airy, floaty. And so it's, and that could have been like your way of surviving, if that makes sense. Like if you were not always taught the depth of your emotion, 511, you were definitely taught the depth of your thinking. So you could have been an overthinker. You could, again, back to this visionary, like you could have thought very deeply, very wisely about a lot of things. So you had a very deep wisdom, but you weren't in touch with the depth of your emotions. And so you finally balancing this out, whether this was like going through a chapter where you were kind of just pushed into this energy or woke into it, or something shifted out from under you, kind of like pulled the rug and was like, hey, wake up, wake up, wake up, see this, you need to see this, you need to see where you are undermining your emotions. You balance it out. 555, you took that shift, you took that leap of faith and really got to know yourself and got to see all the sides of your emotions and the depth of your emotions. Because again, it either feels like this was something you were just not taught how to address, is like the depth of your emotions, or you ran so much, 611 on my timer, from your emotions because the depth of maybe certain wounds or things, or the fear of facing the entirety of your emotions. Yeah. So it's like you once before were like previously very anxious, very overthinky, very like riddled with anxiety. The more that you've been stepping into your feelings, into your body, the more that you've been getting into this Empress energy of where it's not only do you have like the ideas, the brainstorming, and like the emotion, the attachment to it, right? You now can create something with that. Because you had, again, all this wisdom, this depth, this understanding, 654 on my timer, but you weren't quite able to really nurture it, water the seed. You were just able to create a lot of seeds. And now, with this opening up the depth, and again, it feels like you're really understanding what you need emotionally. 717 on my timer. And so it's really like putting you in this position to be creative, because you know what you need. You know what you need for the recipe, and now you can quite simply bake or cook or whip up what it is that you're seeking, because you now also have the depth of the emotion. It's like, oh, this is what I'm feeling. This is the hunger food that I'm wanting this morning. That kind of feeling. Yeah. It's like your heart is open. Your heart is open, and for my divine feminine specifically, because this can still resonate for divine masculines, because for sure, like, this would be you approaching your emotions from a sense of making sure that you can protect yourself, 811 on my timer, and protect your emotions. Therefore, you can do that for any feminine in your life around you who does operate from a more emotional space. Because you meeting that depth within yourself, not to say that you're an overly emotional masculine or anything around those lines, just to understand the depth of your emotion, to respect it, to nurture it, to take care of it, allows you to do so for others. It's what opens up the heart to make you a true protector. So it doesn't have to be just for feminines, but specifically for feminines, this is putting you directly in the energy, again, like I said, for wish fulfillment, to get something that you've been really desiring, but because you're no longer chasing and you're meeting yourself in your entirety, in the depth of your entirety, 858 on my timer, it's like, yeah, there's a wish fulfillment coming in, something. (911) and I think it's 711 on my timer. I think we're gonna go to a part 2 just to get into what all came out, because it's a lot, and I got 40 seconds, so